Hello everybody, and thank you for joining us here for our virtual celebration of National Education Association's Read Across America. Read Across America started in 1998 as a way of celebrating our love of reading. March 2nd was chosen to celebrate this event. It coincides with one of our favorite child authors, Theodore Geisel, also known as Dr. Seuss. So we will have some very special guests today to read you some very special stories. We would like to start off with our reader's oath. And it goes, I promise to read
each day and each night.
I know it's the key to growing up right.
I'll read to myself, I'll read to a crowd.
It makes no difference if silent or loud.
I'll read at my desk, at home, and at school.
On my beanbag or bed, by the fire or pool.
Each book that I read puts smarts in my head.
'Cause brains grow more thoughts the more they are fed.
So I take this oath to make reading my way.
Of feeding my brain what it needs every day.
Hi, I'm Lindy. I work here at the Canyon City Public Library. I'm going to be popping in and out of the video today reading some of my favorite tongue twisters from Oh Say Can You Say by Dr. Seuss. Said a book-reading parrot named Hooey. The words in this book are all phooey. When you say them, your lips will make slips and back flips, and your tongue may end up in St. Louis.
Hello, my name is Suzanne Lasha, and I'm the director at the Canyon City Public Library. I'm going to be reading There's a Wocket in My Pocket for Read Across America, celebrating Dr. Seuss's birthday. This is published by Random House. There's a wocket in my pocket. Did you ever have the feeling there's a wasket in your basket? Or a neuro on your bureau? Or a wazit in your closet? Sometimes I feel quite certain there's a jertin in the curtain. Sometimes I have the feeling there's a zlock behind the clock. And that zelf up on that shelf, I have talked to him myself. That's the kind of house I live in. There's a nink in the sink and a zamp in the lamp, and they're rather nice, I think. Some of them are very friendly, like the yacht in the pot, but that yottle in the bottle, some are friendly and some are not. I like the zabel on the table and the chair, and the gear under the chair. But that bofa on the sofa, well, I wish he wasn't there. All those nut boards and the cupboards, they're good fun to have about. But that toothbrush on my toothbrush, him, I could do without. The only one I'm really scared of is that bug under the rug. And that quimney up the chimney, I don't like him, not at all. And it makes me sort of nervous when the Zal scoots down the hall. But the yaps on the steps, they're great fun to have around. And so are many, many other friends that I have found. Like the teller and the neller and the geller and the deller and the beller and the weller and the zeller in the cellar. And the geeling on the ceiling and the zower in my shower. And the Zillow on my pillow, I don't care if you believe it. That's the kind of house that I live in, and I hope we never leave it. I'd like to introduce my dog Molly. She's been coming to the library for 11 years. She loves it here just like I do. Thank you.
This one's called Bed Spreader, Bread Spreader. Bed spreaders spread spreads on beds. Bread spreaders spread butters on breads. And that bed spreader better watch out how he's spreadin', or that bread spreader's sure gonna butter his beddin'.
The Cat in the Hat will be reading you The Sneetches by Dr. Seuss, published by Random House. The Sneetches. Now the star-bally Sneetches had bellies with stars. The plain-belly Sneetches had none upon theirs. Those stars weren't so big, they were really so small, you might think such a thing wouldn't matter at all. But because they had stars, all the star-bally Sneetches would brag we're the best kind of Sneetches on beaches. With their snoots in the air, they would sniff and they'd snort. We'll have nothing to do with the plain-belly sort. And whenever they met some, whenever they were out walking, they'd hike right on past them without even talking. When the star-belly children went out to play ball, could a plain belly get in the game? Not at all. You only could play if your bellies had stars, and the plain belly children had none upon theirs. When the star-belly Sneetches had Frankfurter roasts, or picnics, or parties, or marshmallow toasts, they never invited the plain-belly Sneetches. They left them out cold in the darks of the beaches. They kept them away, never let them come near, and that's how they treated them year after year. Then one day, it seems, while the plain-belly Sneetches were moping and doping along on the beaches, just sitting there wishing their bellies had stars, a stranger zipped up in the strangest of cars. "My friends," he announced in a voice clear and keen, "my name is Sylvester McMonkey McBean, and I've heard of your troubles. I've read you're unhappy. But here I am. I can fix that. I'm the fix-it-up chappie. I've come here to help you. I have what you need, and my prices are low, and I work at great speed, and my work is 100% guaranteed." Then, quickly, Sylvester McMonkey McBean put together a very peculiar machine, and he said, "You want stars like the star-belly Sneetch? My friends, you can have them for $3 each. Just pay me your money and hop right on board." So they clambered inside, then the big machine roared, and it clunked, and it bonked, and it jerked, and it burked, and it bopped them about. But the thing really worked. When the plain-belly Sneetches popped out, they had stars. They actually did. They had stars upon theirs. Then they yelled at the ones who had stars at the start. "We're exactly like you. You can't tell us apart. We're all just the same now, you snooty old smarties. And now we can go to your Frankfurter parties." "Good grief," groaned the ones who had stars at first. "We're still the best Sneetches, and you are the worst." But now, how in the world will we know? They all frowned, if which kind is what or the other way round. Then came McBean with a very sly wink, and he said, "Things are not as bad as you think. So you don't know who's who. That's perfectly true. But come with me, friends. Do you know what I'll do? I'll make you again the best Sneetches on beaches, and all it will cost you is $10 eaches." "Bally stars are no longer in style," said McBean. "What you need is a trip through my star-off machine. This wondrous contraption will take off your stars, so you won't look like Sneetches who have them upon theirs. And that handy machine, working very precisely, removed all the stars from their tummies quite nicely." Then with snoots in the air they paraded about, and they opened their beaks and they let out a shout. "We know who is who, now there isn't no doubt. The best kind of Sneetches are Sneetches without." Then, of course, those with stars got frightfully mad. To be wearing a star now was frightfully bad. Then, of course, old Sylvester McMonkey McBean invited them on into his star-off machine. Then, of course, from then on, as you probably guess, things really got into a horrible mess. All the rest of that day, on those wild screaming beaches, the fix-it-up chappie kept fixing up Sneetches. Off again, on again, in again, out again. Through the machine they raced around and about again, changing their stars every minute or two. They kept paying money. They kept running through until neither the plane nor the star bellies knew whether this one was that one, or that one was this one, or which one was what one, or what one was who. Then, when every last cent of their money was spent, the fix-it-up chappie packed up and he went. And he laughed as he drove in his car up the beach. They never will learn. No, you can't teach a sneetch. But McBean was quite wrong. I'm quite happy to say that the Sneetches got really quite smart on that day. The day they decided that Sneetches are Sneetches, and no kind of Sneetch is the best on the beaches. That day, all the Sneetches forgot about stars, and whether they had one or not upon theirs. The Sneetches. Great story about being who we are.
This one is The Fudnuddlers. There are so many things that you really should know, and that's why I'm bothering telling you so. You should know the first names of the Fudnuddler brothers, who like to pile each on the heads of the others. If you start at the top, there are Bipper and Bud, and Skipper and Jipper, and Jeffrey and Judd, Horatio, Horace, and Hendrix and Hud, and then come Dinwoody and Dinty and Dud, and Fitzsimmon and Frederick and Fudd, and Slinky and Stinky and Stewart and Stud, and down at the bottom is poor little Lud, but if Lud ever sneezes, his name will be Mud.
Hi everybody! It's Mandy from Mandy Doodle Time again. For Read Across America today, we're going to draw Dr. Seuss's The Lorax.
So, to draw the Lorax, first we're going to draw a big oval. There we go. So that'll be his head, or his body, and then we'll draw a smaller circle, and that'll be his head. Alright, so now that we got the basic shape, I'm going to switch to black so that we can draw his eyes. 2 little circles for his eyes. And there's his nose. Alright, so now we're going to draw the fun part, his big bushy mustache. So I'm going to go whoop and in and out. Kind of like the letter W. Or maybe a bunch of V's put together. And that'll make his big bushy mustache. And then we'll draw his arm. We'll just do a nice curvy line out there. And another one right next to it. And then for his hand, we're going to draw some more V's. And another V for his finger. And then we'll do his arm on the other side. It's got kind of a wavy line there. Doesn't have to be perfectly straight. And some more V's. We're going to connect those together to make some more fingers. And then we'll make his legs down here. He doesn't have very long legs, so we just need some little lines. There's 2 lines for his leg. And then his foot kind of looks like a triangle. So we'll do the same thing kind of on the other side. So we've got 2 lines for a leg and a little triangle foot. Alright, so now because the Lorax is furry, we're going to put lots of little short lines that show where his fur is. He's a pretty hairy guy, so he's got to have lots of little lines. Some crissy-crossy lines. And some furry arms. And some great big furry bushy eyebrows. And a furry head. And now he's a little cranky, so he's got eyebrows that go down. Because you know what makes the Lorax mad is when you're cutting down his trees. So now we're ready to color him in. So the Lorax is orange. His head is orange. And his mustache is yellow. So there's our Lorax. What do you think? Do they look a lot alike? All right, I think it looks pretty good. So be sure and tell us if you guys draw the Lorax, and come show us your pictures if you draw any of the Dr. Seuss characters.
This one's called Eat at Skipper Zips. If you like to eat potato chips and chew pork chops on clipper ships, I suggest that you chew a few chips in a chop at Skipper Zips Clipper Ship Chip Chop Shop.
Hello, I'm John Schick. I'm the Chief of Police for Canyon City Police Department. I wanted to come in today and help you celebrate Dr. Seuss's birthday by reading you a story. The story is "And to Think That I Saw It on Mulberry Street" by Dr. Seuss, Random House Publishing. Dr. Seuss, wonderful storyteller. I'm sure you've all heard his stories. Mulberry Street has has a little boy, and he's going to go down to the street, and we're going to learn about what he sees and experiences down on the street. So let's start, should we? And to Think That I Saw It on Mulberry Street by Dr. Seuss. See the little guy? All right, here we go. When I leave home to walk to school, Dad always says to me, "Marco, keep your eyelids up and see what you can see." Why do you think he says that? He wants him to be safe. But when I tell him where I've been and what I think I've seen, he looks at me and sternly says, "Your eyesight's much too keen. Stop telling me such outlandish tales. Stop turning minnows into whales." So Dad doesn't believe him. He talks about all the things that he sees on Mulberry Street, but I'm not sure his father believes him. Now what can I say when I get home today? Well, as he gets home today, all the long way to school and all the way back, I've looked and I've looked, and I've kept careful track. This young man pays attention. But all that I've noticed, except my own feet, was a horse and a wagon on Mulberry Street. Just a horse and a wagon. There's nothing to tell of. That won't do, of course. Just a broken down wagon that's drawn by a horse. That can't be my story. That's only a start. I'll say that a zebra was pulling that cart. Well, now he's gonna embellish. He's gonna grow the story a little bit. And that is the story that no one can beat when I say that I saw it on Mulberry Street. So we went from a horse drawing the wagon to a zebra. Yes, the zebra is fine, but I think it's a shame. Such a marvelous beast with a cart that's so tame. The story would really be better to hear if the driver I saw were a charioteer. So we went from a wagon to a chariot. A charioteer, a gold and blue chariot, something to meet, rumbling like thunder down Mulberry Street. So he's making this story sound a little better each turn of the page, isn't he? What do you think's going to be next? Oh boy. No, it won't do at all. A zebra's too small. A reindeer is better. He's fast and he's fleet. And he'd look mighty smart on old Mulberry Street. Look at that. That's a reindeer pulling a chariot. And that's a big reindeer. You ever see a reindeer pulling a chariot? No, I haven't. Hold on 1 minute. There's something wrong. A reindeer hates the way it feels to pull a thing that runs on wheels. Uh-oh, what's next? He'd be much happier instead if he could pull a fancy sled. So we went from a wagon to a chariot to a fancy sled the reindeer's pulling. Where's he pulling it? Down Mulberry Street. A reindeer and a sleigh. Say, anyone could think of that. Jack or Fred or Joe or Nat. Say, even Jane could think of that. But isn't it too late to make one little change? A sleigh and an elephant? There's something strange. An elephant pulling the sleigh. I'll pick one with plenty of power and size. A blue one with plenty of fun in his eyes. And then, just to give a little more tone, have a Rajah with rubies perched high on a throne. Say, that makes a story that no one can beat. When I say I saw it on Mulberry Street. That's just silly, isn't it? Or is it? I don't know. What do you think? But now I don't know. It still doesn't seem right. An elephant pulling a thing that's so light would whip it around in the air like a kite. But hey, he'd look simply grand with a great big brass band. Oh boy, we're going to give him a band now. The elephant's pulling a band. I don't know. You think that's possible? I guess so. A band that's so good should have someone to hear it. But it's going so fast that it's hard to keep near it. I'll pull it on a trailer. I know they won't mind if a man sits and listens while hitched on behind. So now the elephant, and now we have what looks like some giraffes pulling the big brass band in the wagon, pulling a man in his little house behind it to listen. But now is that fair? But now is it fair? Is it fair what I've done? I'll bet those wagons weigh more than a ton. That's really too heavy a load for one beast. I'll give him some helpers. He needs 2 at least. Well, that's where we got the giraffes, huh? So now he has some help. What's next? But now, what worries me is this. Mulberry Street runs into bliss. Unless there's something I can fix up, there'll be an awful traffic mix-up. Wonder what you do when you have traffic problems. Maybe you call the police? Maybe. It takes police to do the trick, to guide them through where traffic's thick. It takes police to do the trick. They'll never crash now. They'll race at top speed with Sergeant Mulvaney himself in the lead. Sometimes that's what we do. Police lead parades and keep the traffic clear so the parade can go through. That's what Sergeant Mulvaney's doing here with the elephant, the giraffes, the brass band, and the man in the house. So now we've got a big to-do. The mayor is there, and he thinks it is grand. And he raises his hat as they dash by the stand. You know, you always have folks out there watching the parade as it goes by. Well, here you have the mayor and all of his aldermen. The mayor is there and the aldermen too, all waving big banners of red, white, and blue. Are those the colors of our country, our flag? Yeah. And that is a story that no one can beat. Wow, we've grown this story, haven't we? when I say I saw it all on Mulberry Street. It's getting a little crazy here. With a roar of its motor, an airplane appears and dumps out confetti while everyone cheers. Literally an airplane coming down Mulberry Street, dumping confetti over the parade. And that makes a story that's really not bad, but it still could be better. Suppose that I add. What in the world could he add now? We've got police, giraffes, an elephant, airplanes, city council and the mayor, a big brass band, and a man in a little house. What on earth could he add to this story? His story's grown quite a bit, hasn't it? You remember what he really saw on Mulberry Street at first? I believe it was just a horse and a wagon. And now, look where we are. So what are we going to add? A Chinese man who eats with sticks. A big magician doing tricks. A 10-foot beard that needs a comb. There's the 10-foot beard, look at it. No time for more, I'm almost home. So he's thought about this all the way home. I guess this is what he's going to tell his dad to make it sound so grand. I swung round the corner and dashed through the gate. I ran up the steps, and I felt really great. For I had a story that no one could beat. And to think that I saw it all on Mulberry Street. But Dad sat quiet, calmly. Just draw up your stool and tell me the sights on the way home from school. There was so much to tell. I just couldn't begin. Dad looked at me sharply and pulled at his chin. He frowned at me sternly from there in his seat. Was there nothing to look at? No people to greet? Did nothing excite you or make your heart beat? Nothing, I said, growing red as a beet, but a plain horse and a wagon on Mulberry Street. He had great imagination. He thought of all these wonderful things he would tell his dad, and at the end of the story, what couldn't he do? He couldn't lie to his dad. He couldn't tell him he saw all these things when he really hadn't saw them. So in the end, he told him, all I saw was the horse and the wagon on Mulberry Street. What a story. That was fun. I particularly liked the part where Sergeant Mulvaney comes in and helps the parade through the streets. I had a lot of fun. I hope you did too. Remember, if you like this story, you can check it out too. And to think that I saw it on Mulberry Street, Dr. Seuss. Happy birthday, Dr. Seuss. I hope to see you, all you young kids, next year in person. It's Chief Schick saying bye-bye.
This one's called Rope Soap, Hoop Soap. If you hope to wash soup off a rope, simply scrub it with scrope. Scrope is so strong that no rope is too long. But if you should wish to wash soup off a hoop, I suggest that it's best to let your whole silly souped up hoop soak in Soapy Cooper Super Soup Off Hoops Soak Suds.
Hi, I'm Ryan Stevens. I'm the City Administrator for the City of Canyon City, and today I'm reading Green Eggs and Ham. I am Sam. Sam I am. That Sam I am, that Sam I am, I do not like that Sam I am. Do I like green eggs and ham? I do not like them, Sam I am. I do not like green eggs and ham. Would you like them here or there? I I would not like them here or there. I would not like them anywhere. I do not like green eggs and ham. I do not like them, Sam I am. Would you like them in a house? Would you like them with a mouse? I do not like them in a house. I do not like them with a mouse. I do not like them here or there. I do not like them anywhere. I do not like green eggs and ham. I do not like them, Sam I am. Would you eat them in a box? Would you eat them with a fox? Not in a box, not with a fox, not in a house, not with a mouse. I would not eat them here or there. I would not eat them anywhere. I would not eat green eggs and ham. I do not like them, Sam I am. Would you, could you, in a car? Eat them, here they are. I would not, could not, in a car. You may like them, you will see, you may like them in a tree. I would not, could not, in a tree, not in a car, you let me be. I do not like them in a box. I do not like them with a fox. I do not like them in a house. I do not like them with a mouse. I do not like them here or there. I do not like them anywhere. I do not like green eggs and ham. I do not like them, Sam I am. A train, a train, a train. Could you, would you, on a train? Not on a train, not in a tree, not in a car. Sam, let me be. I would not, could not, in a box. I would not, could not, with a fox. I will not eat them with a mouse. I will not eat them in a house. I will eat them here or there. I will not eat them anywhere. I do not eat green eggs and ham. I do not like them, Sam I am. Say, in the dark, here in the dark, would you, could you, in the dark? I would not, could not, in the dark. Would you, could you, in the rain? I would not, could not, in the rain. Not in the dark, not on a train. Not in a car, not in a tree. I do not like them, Sam, you see. Not in a house, not in a box, not with a mouse, not with a fox. I will not eat them here or there. I do not like them anywhere. You do not like them? You do not like green eggs and ham? I do not like them, Sam I am. Could you, would you, with a goat? I would not, could not, with a goat. Would you, could you, on a boat? I could not, would not, on a boat. I will not, with a goat. I will not eat them in the rain. I will not eat them on a train. Not in the dark, not in a tree, not in a car, you let me be. I do not like them in a box. I do not like them with a fox. I will not eat them in a house. I do not like them with a mouse. I do not like them here or there. I do not like them anywhere. I do not like green eggs and ham. I do not like them, Sam I am. You do not like them, so you say. Try them, and you may. Try them, and you may, I say. Sam, if you will let me be, I will try them. You will see. Oh, there he is trying them. Say, I like green eggs and ham. I do. I like them, Sam I am. And I would eat them in a boat. I would eat them with a goat. And I will eat them in the rain and in the dark and on a train and in a car and in a tree. They are so good, you see. So I will eat them in a box and I will eat them with a fox. And I will eat them in a house and I will eat them with a mouse. And I will eat them here and there. Say, I will eat them anywhere. I do so like green eggs and ham. Thank you, Sam I am. And that is the end of the story. Thank you for joining me for Read Across America Month. Have a great day.
This one's called Fritz Food, Fred Food. Fritz needs Fred and Fred needs Fritz. Fritz feeds Fred and Fred feeds Fritz. Fred feeds Fritz with ritzy Fred food. Fritz feeds Fred with Ritzy Fritz food, and Fritz, when fed, has often said, I'm a Fred fed Fritz, Fred's a Fritz fed Fred. I really like tongue twisters because they're fun to say, and you can try it with your family, and it's always good for a laugh because you're bound to mess up.
I was kind of torn on which story I wanted to read today. Yertle the Turtle by Dr. Seuss, published by Random House. Yertle the Turtle. On a faraway island in Solemn Sod, Yertle the Turtle was king of the pond. A nice little pond. It was clean, it was neat. The water was warm, there was plenty to eat. The turtles had everything turtles might need, and they were all happy. Quite happy indeed. They were, until Yertle, the king of them all, decided the kingdom he ruled was too small. I'm ruler, said Yertle, of all that I see, but I don't see enough. That's the trouble with me. With this stone for a throne, I look down on my pond, but I cannot look down on things, on the places beyond. This throne that I sit on is too low down. It ought to be higher, he said with a frown. If I could sit high, how much greater I'd be. What a king, I'd be ruler of all I could see. So Yertle the Turtle King lifted his hand, and Yertle the Turtle King gave a command. He ordered 9 turtles to swim to his stone, and using these turtles he built a new throne. He made each turtle stand on another one's back, and he piled them all up in a 9 turtle stack. And then Yertle climbed up. He sat down on a pile. What a wonderful view! He could see most a mile. All mine, cried Yertle. Oh, the things I now rule. I am king of a cow, and I am king of a mule. I am king of a house, and what's more beyond that, I am king of a blueberry bush and a cat. I'm Yertle the Turtle, oh marvelous me, for I am the ruler of all that I see. And all through that morning he sat there up high, saying over and over, a great king am I, until, long about noon, then he heard a faint sigh. What's that? Snapped the king, and he looked down the stack, and he saw at the bottom a turtle named Mac. Just as part of his throne, and this plain little turtle looked up and he said, beg your pardon, King Yertle. I've pains in my back and my shoulders and knees. How long must we stand here, your majesty, please? Silence, the king of the turtles barked back. I'm king, and you're only a turtle named Mac. You stay in your place while I sit here and rule. I'm king of a cow, and I'm king of a mule. I'm king of a house, a bush, and a cat. But that isn't all. I'll do better than that. My throne shall be higher. His royal voice thundered. So pile up more turtles. I want about 200. Turtles. More turtles, he bellowed and brayed. And the turtles way down in the pond were afraid. They trembled, they shook, but they came, they obeyed. For all over the pond they came swimming by dozens, whole families of turtles with uncles and cousins. And all of them stepped on the head of poor Mac. One after another they climbed up the stack. Then Yertle the Turtle was perched up so high he could see 40 miles, his throne in the sky. Hooray, shouted Yertle, I'm king of the trees, I'm king of the birds, and I'm king of the bees, I'm king of the butterflies, king of the air. Ah, me, what a throne, what a wonderful chair. I'm Yertle the Turtle, oh marvelous me, for I am the ruler of all that I see. Then, again, from below in the great heavy stack came a groan, that plain little turtle named back. Your Majesty, please, I don't like to complain, but down here below we're feeling great pain. I know, up on top you're seeing great sights, but down at the bottom we too should have rights. We turtles can't stand it. Our shells will all crack. Besides, we need food. We're starving, groaned Mac. Hush up your mouth, howled the mighty King Yertle. You've no right to talk to the world's highest turtle. I rule from the clouds, over land, over sea. There's nothing, no nothing that's higher than me. But while he was shouting, he saw with surprise that the moon of the evening was starting to rise. Up over his head in the darkening skies. What's that? Snorted Yertle. Say, what is that thing? that dares to be higher than Yertle the king. I shall not allow it. I'll go higher still. I'll build my throne higher. I can and I will. I'll call some more turtles. I'll stack them to heaven. I need about 5,607. But as Yertle, the Turtle King, lifted his hand and started to order and give a command, that plain little turtle below in the stack, that plain little turtle whose name was just Mac, decided he had enough. And he had. And that plain little lad got a little bit mad. And that plain little Mac did a plain little thing. He burped, burp, and his burp shook the throne of the king. And Yertle the turtle, the king of the trees, the king of the air, and the king of the bees, the king of the house, and the cow, and the mule, well, that was the end of the Turtle King's rule. For Yertle, the king of all Salamasad, fell off his high throne and fell plunk in the pond. And today, the great Yertle, that marvelous he, is king of the mud. That is all he can see. And the turtles, of course, all the turtles are free, as turtles and maybe all creatures should be. Yertle the Turtle by Dr. Seuss. Thank you for joining us today here for our virtual celebration. Please, folks, stop in and see us at the Canyon City Public Library. Thank you and have a nice day.